Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Floraldi Cristingel of BS Criminology OL 22A40, and I will be reciting the following topics under the Chapter 5 of our Criminal Law Book 1, which is the classification of penalties under Article 25 of the Revised Penal Code, the scale of principal and accessory penalties. Third is the duration of penalties under Article 27, the successive service of sentences under Article 70, and lastly, the meaning of complex crime, which is under Article 48. Let's go first for the classification of penalties. Under Article 25 of the Revised Penal Code, penalties are classified into two. The principal, which is provided by the law for a felony and which is imposed by the court expressly upon conviction, and the accessory, which is deemed included in the imposition of the principal penalty. Scale of principal and accessory penalties. Under principal penalties are death as the capital punishment, reclusion perpetua, reclusion temporal, perpetual or temporary absolute disqualification, perpetual or temporary special disqualification, and prisión mayor are afflictive penalties. Prisión correccional, arresto mayor, suspension, and destero are correctional penalties. Arresto minor and public censure are light penalties. And the fine and bond to keep the peace are penalties common to those three preceding classes. Under accessory penalties are perpetual or temporary absolute disqualification, perpetual or temporary special disqualification, suspension from public office, the right to vote or be voted for, the right for profession or calling, civil interdiction, indemnification, forfeiture or confiscation of instrument and proceedings of the offense, and the payment of cost. Duration of penalties under Article 27 of the Revised Penal Code. Reclusion perpetua from 20 years and 1 day to 40 years. Reclusion temporal from 12 years and 1 day to 20 years. Prisión mayor and temporary disqualification from 6 years and 1 day to 12 years, except when the penalty of disqualification imposed as an accessory penalty, in which case its duration shall be that of the principal penalty. Prisión correccional, suspension, and destero from 6 months and 1 day to 6 years, except when the penalty of suspension imposed as an accessory penalty, in which case its duration shall be that of the principal penalty. Arresto mayor from 1 month and 1 day to 6 months. Arresto minor from 1 to 30 days. And the bond to keep the peace are discretionary to the court. Successive service of sentences. Under the Article 70 of the Revised Penal Code, in order of severity and for the purpose of the successive service of sentences, have the following scale. First is the Death Republic Act number 9346, signed into law on June 24, 2006, prohibited the imposition of the death penalty. Second, reclusion perpetua, reclusion temporal, prisión mayor, prisión correccional, arresto mayor, arresto minor, destero, perpetual absolute disqualification, temporary absolute disqualification, suspension of public office, the right to vote or be voted for, the right to follow profession or calling, and lastly, the public censure. Complex crime. Article 48 of the Revised Penal Code speaks of two types of complex crimes. The first one is the compound crime or delito compuesto, when a single act constitutes two or more grave or less grave felonies. The second one is the complex crime proper or delito complejo, when an offense is a necessary means for committing the other. In complex crime, although two or more crimes are actually committed, they constitute only one crime in the eyes of the law. The offender has only one criminal intent, hence, there is only one penalty imposed. That's all. Have a good day. And once again, good afternoon.